I am re-releasing one of my most popular episodes from season 1, Wendy Powell of MUTU System, and here's why I'm doing it. The folks at MUTU System were nice enough to set me up with a complete program. You guys, this is a $147 value. I am doing a drawing for this on Wednesday, December 4th. Here's how you enter. You are going to leave a review for this show. Depending on the player that you're in, you're either going to swipe up and then do that star thing, leave a review. That's typically how it goes. That's what I want you to do. And I will be choosing one of those reviews to give that complete system away. Again, it's a $147 value. I'm going to do this drawing on Wednesday, December 4th. I will read the winner on next Saturday with Susie episode. You've got until Wednesday, December 4th to leave a review and win a full MUTU System program. This episode is made possible by Red H Nutrition. Red H Nutrition is your one-stop shop for nutrition and wellness supplements. You can check them out in the show notes, and don't forget to use code RUNLIFTMOM, RUNLIFTMOM, at checkout to save 10%. Also, if you stick around to the end of the episode, you'll hear me interview the owner of Red H Nutrition about one of my favorite products. And as always, I'm a Zaya Active representative, so don't forget to get on my new release Wednesday text message. Yeah, you heard me right. By going to newreleasewednesday.com, put in your phone number, and then you don't have to scroll social media all day come Wednesdays. I'm going to send you my favorite directly to your phone. Welcome to a Saturday with Susie episode of the Run Lift Mom podcast, where we're talking about running, lifting, and momming, not necessarily in that order. Today, we're going to hit on all three through the lens of motherhood. I've got Wendy Powell, the founder and CEO of MUTU System, on the show. This is a re-release from season 1. It was one of my most popular episodes from season 1. And if you want to know why, it's because Wendy brought it. We talk about postpartum considerations specific to runners and lifters. We talk about your body's timeline, special considerations after you have baby, and even what you can do before baby to prepare your body for staying fit and healthy later on. Without further ado, here's Wendy Powell from MUTU System. All right, welcome Wendy Powell to the Run Lift Mom podcast. I am like geeking out right now, girl crush. So glad to have you here. Can
Thank you.
If folks aren't as girl crush as I am over you, would you mind telling them a little bit about how MUTU came to be?
Absolutely, I will. Thank you for having me. It's lovely to be here. So I am the CEO and founder of MUTU System. We've been around about 9 years now, and we are the medically recommended program for postpartum mums getting back into fitness or starting fitness. Basically about recovering and getting strong again after they have their babies, however long ago they had their babies. Mm-hmm. So where it came from really was I started MUTU System, Susie, because I needed it. So when I had my babies in 2005 and 2007, they're not babies anymore. And at that time, I was a highly certified, qualified personal trainer, not just personal trainer, but specialist in postpartum, right? So I had all the right pieces of paper that told me I was an expert in this area of fitness. And
well, I see you, but you're smiling. You're smiling because we know that it is one thing to be credentialed, but it's another to have experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I often refer to those days as the days of the self-righteous personal trainer, because that was probably me, like totally like, oh, clearly you just need to do these exercises and do this and everything's just going to be a walk in the park, and of course it isn't, and it wasn't. And so I had my baby, my daughter, she's now about to be 14. And I had a super fit pregnancy. I was still training clients right through my pregnancy, still like running with them, working out with them, everything very healthy and fine. And then I had done labor and everything went wrong. I'm sure I won't be the only woman listening to this that, it didn't quite go according to plan. I had massive postpartum hemorrhage. And to cut a long story short, it happened again less than 2 years later when I had my son. So big hemorrhage, lots of intervention. And really, MUTU sort of started, or MUTU was a seed in my head, really. I didn't know what it was called then. But the way I felt after those births was all the things that I didn't expect to feel. I thought it was supposed to be instinctive and intuitive. And I thought I was supposed to feel empowered and strong and amazing. And I didn't feel any of those things. I felt disempowered. I felt bitter at my body for letting me down. I felt like my body should have performed in a certain way and failed to do so. I didn't feel good about the experience at all. And one, I knew from my clients and kind of figured that I wasn't alone in feeling that. But also I felt this massive bitterness, if you like, at first. But then this frustration that the fitness industry, my industry at that time, had not served me. It had not prepared me. I didn't know how to deal with these feelings.
Like if anyone is supposed to know what to do in that space, it would be the certified personal trainer.
Exactly, right? Exactly. And it's there's a feeling after we have our babies, as I say, it could be a long time after we have our babies, where what used to work doesn't work anymore. And so the strategies, the techniques, the exercises, the things that we do that maybe previously got us the results that we wanted, they're just not cutting it. And not only that, but we are feeling feels that we're not used to. So things just feel different. Right. All that stuff down there that used to be a bunch of fun is not feeling like very much fun anymore right now.
Listeners are laughing because they're like, yeah, girl, preach. I know what you're talking about.
It feels, and you may be dealing with pain and pain issues, in which case I say absolutely, if you are feeling pain, please see a medical professional, see a doctor. And I would we'll talk again about this, but the specialists that you need to see are women's health physiotherapists, or in the States, physical therapists. Okay, there are women's health specialists, pelvic health specialists. Those are the medical professionals you want to be seeing. So if there's any pain, absolutely you need to be doing that without question. But it may not be pain that you're feeling. It may be just, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like it used to. So for example, your tummy, your stomach, likely doesn't look like it used to look. If it does, tell me your secret. But it doesn't feel the same. It looks different. It behaves differently. The exercises that you used to do to get, if you did have a flat stomach previously, then the things that used to get you that result don't work anymore. It feels different. You might feel like you're falling out at the front. You might feel unstable. You might feel back pain. And then in the pelvic region, you might feel feelings of heaviness, or like kind of something's kind of coming out of you. A lot of women describe sort of the more mild prolapse symptoms as almost as if you can't keep a tampon in, like you're sitting on a ball. All of these sort of just feeling odd, not quite right. Yeah. And so all of those feelings and there's not really anywhere to turn at that point. So we're not feeling good about our bodies. It feels different. It feels odd. We're looking down at stretch marks. We're looking at overhang. We're looking at scars. We don't like it. We can't control it. And so what happens is we shut down. And when I say shut down, I say that from the point of view of my own experience, because when we don't like the way that our body's behaving, reacting, performing almost, we kind of shut off from it. So if you think about when you go for your pap smear, it's not a particularly pleasant experience, but it's got to be done, So, you lie there, the doctor, he or she does his thing, her thing, and you might sort of go to your happy place for a few minutes while it all happens. Yeah, I mean, it's like, we got to be here, whatever. The problem is when we're doing that shutting down for weeks and months and years, and that's what a lot of women are doing. They don't like the way this is going on. They don't like how it looks, how it feels, how it performs, how it functions. And so we shut off from it. And this, if you like, is I consider the secret sauce of MUTU system, because this is sort of the missing link that I found for myself post my own childbirth experiences, that we were there's a lot of women who are jumping back into fitness, and I know we're going to talk about jumping back into fitness, but doing it in a way that is almost punishing a body that did not perform the way they wanted it to, or is currently not performing the way they wanted to. So
I really want people, I'm glad we're starting here, and I really, if I can get you to repeat that for the sake of emphasizing it.
Yes, absolutely. We shut off, and by shut off, I mean we disconnect emotionally, psychologically, as well as physically by default. We shut off from what is not performing, what we don't like the look and feel of. Right. Now, when we shut off from something, when we disconnect from our body in this way, it cannot do what we're asking it to do. So to put that in context, if you're in a Pilates class or you're doing some kind of abdominal exercise or core strength or whatever it might be, and you're being told or instructed or cued to engage your core, for example, as they say. Now, if you've shut off from that part of your body, if you're not liking it, then there's no pathway going on there, okay? Nothing's happening. So, because what you're doing is you're not working with your body, you're kind of punishing it and working against it. So that was the missing link that I found. And as I say, it was from my own experiences and realizing that these conversations I'd been having with my personal training clients way before I had my own babies, and then it kind of started to make sense to me myself, was you don't like what you're dealing with, i.e. your body. You're not loving it right now. And when we don't love it and care for it and connect with it, it's very, very hard to then sort of achieve physical results from exercise that we're looking for. So that's really where we start. It's like we're in the postpartum period, and I extend that period very long. Susie, I don't. To me, if we've ever had a baby, we're postpartum.
Right. I mean, because for most people are like, oh, if I had a vaginal birth, I wait 6 weeks. And here in the Americas, it's usually 8 weeks if you've had a C-section. Now, I'm a triplet mom. So you can imagine my abdominal separation. But I remember speaking with, once those babies came out, even though it was a multiples pregnancy, boy, they treat you like anybody else that's had a C-section. And to be fair, whether you've had 1 or 3 babies, you need more than 8 weeks.
Yes.
So you consider postpartum to be, if you've had a baby, you check the box.
You know what? If you've carried a baby, you check the box. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. But I don't want that to be heard in the way of, oh, you'll never do this again. You'll never get that strength back. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that your body has changed, and those changes need to be addressed in a way that was not the same as before. And if you haven't addressed those things, then you could be years down the line and your abdominal separation could still be causing you issues, and your pelvic floor could very well still be causing you issues. So it's not to say, oh, you've got this because you've had babies, this is your lot, this is it. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that those things need to be addressed even if it was years ago.
Right. I love this. So your personal experience, and then of course you've got a wealth of information in health and fitness. You had this personal experience, and it sounds like you really dug deep physiologically with where that gap that wasn't being addressed within physical training and fitness professionals.
That's right. It's like, I kind of remember thinking somebody must know the answers to this, so I mean, MUTU system is the result of years of study and just kind of searching for answers in other places. So yes, there's fitness, and there's a lot of amazing brains and progression and ideas going on in fitness, certainly now. But I also went to biomechanics, and I spoke to physical therapists, I spoke to sex therapists, I spoke to surgeons. Who's dealing with these really rather important parts of women's bodies that is not getting through to these trainers and instructors in gyms because they don't know, they're not trained in it. And I mean, many years ago, I came through a very respected fitness certification, but pregnancy and postpartum, and they love those two things together as if they're the same. We did in one, I believe it was like half day, if that, like maybe 2 or 3 hours.
Right.
And So that's standard. And as I say, that's a highly respected certification in personal training that I had. And a couple hours on pregnancy, postpartum. Okay, done. And I knew I didn't know enough, when I was first starting to serve women in that part of their journey. And then sort of when I had my own, it was like, yeah, no, this isn't touching the sides, what we've been taught here. We need more.
So that was 9 years ago. And
Correct.
So before I get some specific tips for that postpartum period, as well as those who might be expecting, I want you to take a second to brag, Wendy. Can you brag on the partners that you have and the other women out there that are, you are a light. You have been a change agent in this segment of the industry.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'd love to. So MUTU System, we currently, at last count, have more than 57,000 women around the world that have been through our program, which is just amazing. And the MUTU System is not just an exercise program, and that's a phrase that we hear a lot from our customers. They're like, "Oh my God, I thought I was just buying an exercise program, and I got so much more." Like, mind blown. So it's an online exercise program, yes, that takes you through, but it's an amazing community of women. It's an amazing supportive community. And by community, I don't mean, no disrespect to Facebook, but I don't just mean a Facebook group. What I mean is we have our own community on our own membership site. So it's fully private. It's it's a very safe space. And not only do you have the support and camaraderie and motivation of all those other tens of thousands of moms going through MUTU System with you, but we have our own team of experts, including certified MUTU pros. That's fitness instructors trained by myself and by top physical therapist Tracy Scher. They're answering questions, like in real human to human. They're answering questions in this space. So it's an incredible community. It's an incredible space. And yeah, I teach and speak and master train around the world now. Tens of thousands of customers, and really, it's what I love is what people are, where do I find out more? And I'm just like, go to Google and put in MUTU System.
Yeah. Well,
there's plenty.
Of this episode, I'm going to link a conversation that I had a few months ago with one of your MUTU pros, Ashley Gammon. She serves the military community and she loves us hard. And so I'm going to link that below. You and I are going to continue to talk, but listeners, you guys can dig down in there and also hear one of an extension, of course, of Wendy's brand, and that's Ashley, who is a MUTU pro.
She is. She's amazing. Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so talk to me. The name of this show is Run, Lift, Mom.
Okay.
I know for a fact that a lot of folks that listen ran, previously prior to getting pregnant, maybe ran in their pregnancy, maybe they fell off when it started to get uncomfortable. What should runners specifically be thinking about in that postpartum period? And we know that postpartum is not just defined as the fourth trimester.
Certainly. So when you're getting back into running, or you feel like you want to get back into running, I suppose the first thing, and I know it's been said before, but it's got to be said, which is take it slow. Okay. You are not going to jump straight back into where you were when you were last running. You'll know, certainly if you're a runner through pregnancy, that you're winding down, not winding up in terms of intensity and distance, etc. As your pregnancy went on, you need at least that time. Okay. You were pregnant for 9 months. You need at least that time to kind of build back. Okay. So first of all, take it slow. And
you guys hearing her. You were pregnant for 9 months. Give yourself at least that to get to the starting block.
So true.
I just want to emphasize it because I know the unrealistic expectation that this community often has. We're type A's, we're achievers. But Wendy is saying, first of all, you got to give yourself 9 months to get back to where you were, and then more considerations. Continue.
Exactly. And the thing is, again, on those expectations, it's yes. I know your audience is type A's and they want to get back to it, but it's not just that. It's the media, the social media is hammering those expectations home at every turn, isn't it? And we try to look away, and we know it's not real, and we know it's not realistic, but these are the expectations that we're being given. It's like, get back to it, get your body back to this. It's like your body has performed something amazing and miraculous. And I don't care that people are doing it every day. That doesn't make it any less miraculous. It's incredible what your body has achieved. Give it a chance. Give it a chance to recover before it can strengthen. So we don't jump straight back in. So from a running point of view, first of all, you want to start with rebuilding that pelvic floor and core strength. You cannot go out and start pounding your pelvic floor, because that's effectively what you're doing with the impact of running. You cannot go back and just start pounding that and expect it to recover. It needs some space. And a really important thing I'd say there is doing running is not going to make your pelvic floor strong in the early days, okay? So, because this is something that sometimes people are like, oh, you've just got to do more of it and that'll make your pelvic floor strong because it'll have to work. No, that's not the case. That is, now later on, once your pelvic floor is functional and working, your pelvic floor is an integral part of your core musculature. Once your core and pelvic floor are working, functional again, then yes, there is absolutely truth in the fact that by working it, you work it, if you see what I mean, you strengthen it. But in those early days, we need to get it functioning again first.
Now, it's programming, right? So most runners have looked at a calendar, they've looked at their race programming. What I hear you saying is there's an entire block, if you will. So just like you talk about building your base or tapering, and those are separate blocks, you're saying there is a separate block where we've got to get that core and pelvic floor strong and agreeing before we can start that training.
Exactly. And that block is not a set amount of time. You know, it's and this is what MUTU system teaches. It helps you to understand for yourself what those signs are. So probably the question I am most often asked is, when can I? When can I do this again? When can I dance? When can I run? When can I row? When can I whatever? The answer is your body will tell you. Now, if your body is leaking or hurting when you do a thing, an activity, then that's your body telling you in no uncertain terms, I'm not ready for this yet. So don't do more of it to make it ready. That's not going to make it ready. You need to make it ready so that you can do it. We just recently did a great series on our blog about getting back to running, and one of our MUTU pros, Suzanne, and she described it as, she said, we don't run to get strong, we get strong to run. And I think that's a really nice way of looking at it. It's like, so keeping going on something that if you're peeing yourself a little or a lot when you're running, your body is not ready to run. It doesn't mean you never will. And I know that as runners, especially, it's like, I've got to get back. Nobody's saying you're never going to do this again. Absolutely not. You MUTU so you can. You MUTU so that you can do other stuff. All right. So get your pelvic floor and core functioning, and then learn to understand the signals, the very clear signals. Once we tune in, our bodies are pretty clear about, you know, if it hurts, this isn't right, okay? If I'm peeing, that's not okay. Don't put a pad in and keep running. Don't put a pad in and keep lifting. I know we're going to talk about that too. But
well, you're throwing a softball there, because there's that same mentality in lifting circles. So for example, I'm in a military town, CrossFit is insanely popular. And there's we've got double unders where the rope skips twice underneath. We've got double unders, put your panty liner in, ha, ha, ha. And what I hear you saying is, no, guys, if that is happening, you're in too early.
Yes, you're in too early. You should not be peeing when you exercise. If you're peeing when you exercise, never mind building other muscles, your core is literally not working, just not working, not functioning optimally. Okay, it's your core's job is to contain intra-abdominal pressure, to keep your core strong. Your pelvic floor's job, amongst other things, as well as giving you, making sure you have great sex and feel good. Your pelvic floor's job is to keep stuff in. If it's falling out, it's not working. And
I think about, like, if somebody has a flat tire, you stop and you fix the flat. You don't continue to drive and hope that air will magically.
It's going to like reinflate. It's a great visual, and it's so true. So it's CrossFit, lifting, running. There is nothing in there that I would ever say to any woman that wants to do it, you can't do it, you'll never do it. Absolutely not. No way. You can totally do those things again, but you need some foundations. And that's what that core and pelvic floor are. They're your foundations. And it's not going to, you're not going to get your optimum result from your lifting, from your running, from anything. You're not going to get the progression that you're after, the muscle that you're after, the speed, whatever it is that's your goal. You're not going to achieve it if your foundation is not strong. So we get there first, we get there to a point where our body is like, okay, I'm good with this. And obviously that's then progressed. So you're not going to go from lifting nothing to lifting, what you were lifting pre-pregnancy. You're going to build it. And again, your body will tell you when it's the right time. So if you can run for a couple minutes without leaking, but when you go for 5 or you speed up, okay, for now, that's my benchmark. Okay. So I'm just going to take it to there. And I'm going to keep working on my core strength, and then I'm going to take it a little bit further. So listen, your body's telling you, and we layer. Just keep on layering and keep progressing.
It occurs to me that in the early season of motherhood, we've also got this baby who is not going to outright say, hey, I'm hungry. Yo, I'm sleepy. And so you've really got to pay attention to those cues. So ladies, don't forget to also pay attention to the cues that your body is giving you. You should be really good at nonverbals at this point.
we don't listen, and I think that sort of comes back to the connection and the not liking our bodies that I know a lot of women deal with, that we talked about right at the start, which is we're not listening if we're disconnected. The more we connect, the more our body's telling us, okay, I like that, I feel good doing that, that was a little bit much, okay, back up a little bit, and take yourself forward at that in that way. Just keep progressing, keep layering.
I love that. Talk to me about, let's say someone is listening who maybe is about to start a family, or maybe she's a mommy to be and expecting herself. Is there anything that a mommy can do currently to make sure that initial postpartum time is more smooth?
Absolutely, there is. There's no predictions about how the birth's going to go, as I know from myself. It's like, that one's in the hands of Mother Nature. I'm sorry, I can't do anything about that one. But but yes, there absolutely is, because when we're talking about core and pelvic floor foundational work, which is where MUTU system starts, it's the MUTU 101. It's the most important part, and a lot of that is about connecting with our core and pelvic floor. Now, to connect with these muscles and to engage and work these muscles, first we have to find them, which sounds obvious, but if you haven't found them yet, you don't know what they feel like when they're recruited, when they're working. It's very hard to strengthen them. Now, post baby, if you have a vaginal birth, your pelvic floor muscles will not feel the same, obviously, in the sort of immediate post-birth period. So if you didn't know before what it felt like to use your pelvic floor, it's very hard to try and learn straight after you've had a baby. If you do that foundational work during pregnancy beforehand, then there's muscle memory. Your body knows what to do. Okay, it knows what it should feel like. Now, similarly, that's in the case of a vaginal birth. You're not going to feel your pelvic floor in the same way. If you have a C-section, you're not going to feel your abs in the same way. There's numbness, there's tingling. Things haven't reconnected yet. So to do that foundation work beforehand is really going to set you in great stead for afterwards, because your body already understands how these things connect. As I said before, the core musculature includes the pelvic floor. When one works, the other one works. So when your body understands that, you'll be okay, or a little bit more okay with, okay, I can't actually feel that happening right now, but I know I'm doing all the right things.
Right. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Wow, Wendy, we're going to go right into rapid fire, which doesn't necessarily have anything to do with MUTU, but I want to thank you. First of all, I invited you on to talk about running, lifting considerations in that postpartum and pregnancy period. I really want to make sure people are hearing what you say about mindset, though. Your body has not failed you. You don't need to be mad at your body. And if there's a disconnect between how you feel about your body, it's probably going to show up in your motivation or how you're moving.
So true. So true. Yeah, we have to get reconnected. We have to appreciate what our body's done, and you can absolutely move forward and progress to lift heavy and run fast and do all the things that you want to do. But just take that time to rebuild and restore before you try to strengthen something that is literally disconnected from the moment.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so rapid fire, I've got a couple of questions for you here. Let's say you've got an hour. You've got an hour to sweat. What is your favorite workout? How are you spending that time?
You know what? A huge part of MUTU system, and what I would always say my go-to is walk. Now, if you're a runner, that might be a walk run. That's cool. That's fine. Start adding in a little bit of running. But I think that, the kit good shoes, like supportive shoes. You need that. Get a great carrier that really supports yourself and your baby as you carry him or her. Even better. It's, you're lifting and you're walking, for goodness sake. So go do that. Get fresh air. Get everything moving. That circulation is going to help you heal. It helps pelvic floor. Pelvic floors are meant to move. They're not just meant to be sat and squeezed. They need to move. Walking, striding, climbing, all of those things. So if you've got that moment with or without the baby, and the great thing is you can take baby with you, but just put on some comfy shoes, get comfy and get outside and walk.
I love it. I think that walking is an underutilized form of exercise. People are always looking for some like hard-hitting, high-intensity interval training, and walking is a great way to connect with nature. There are quite literally no barriers, you guys.
Yes.
Like Wendy said, put on your shoes, take the kid along, take the dog, whatever, get out there and do it. Thank you very much for that. Finally, Wendy, what is a piece of advice that you would give yourself back in 2005, early season of motherhood?
Oh, God, I think the biggest thing, because we all do it, is stop beating yourself up. Stop thinking you're not enough. Take words like failed or not enough or not fast enough or I'm not doing this quick enough or well enough. Take all of those things out of your vocabulary and it doesn't matter what you did yesterday, start over. Just start over. Being a mom involves enough mom guilt. There's enough in our lives that we don't feel we're doing well enough. Our own bodies are so important. And I think that's probably a really big thing too, is when we become moms, we put ourselves last. And we think that any kind of self-care is something that needs to come after everybody else's needs. And it's just not the case. We all know it. We're better moms, we're better people, friends, sisters, everything, partners, when we feel good about ourselves. So know that you deserve to feel good in and about your body. Know it, believe it. If you don't believe it yet, just keep saying it until you do. So you deserve a body that works and that makes you feel good. And don't let anything tell you otherwise. Prioritize it.
I don't think there's a better way to end a show called Run Lift Mom. Wendy, I'm going to put all your details below so people can learn more about you and MUTU System. Thank you so much for coming on.
You're so welcome. I loved it.
Wow, Wendy Powell from MUTU System, this was amazing. Real talk, you guys. I started crying when she talked about the mom guilt that we apply on ourselves as if there's not enough pressure being a mom already. There was so much tactical goodness in this episode about core rehabilitation, pelvic floor rehabilitation, but I don't want you to glaze over that last part when Wendy said, take the negative stuff out, that negative self-talk, bye, Felicia, and love yourself and be good to yourself. Being a mom is hard enough. Wendy, you are such an inspiration, not only as a fitness professional, but also as a mother who has made it her mission to empower others. You are my people. Until I get into your earpiece again, remember, for while bodily training is of some value, godliness is of value in every way, as it holds promise for the present life and also for the life to come. That's from 1 Timothy 4:8, and this has been the Run Lift Mom podcast. All right, Katie Danger with Red H Nutrition. Listeners can dip back into episode 35 to hear the entire episode on sexy versus non-sexy supplements, and you blew my mind with the latter, especially about A to Z vitamins. Can you tell me about Factor 10?
Yeah, Factor 10 multivitamin, it is a different approach than your typical A to Z Centrum or one a day that you might be taking currently. So we focus more on herbal ingredients. It does have your daily allowance of vitamin D, A, and zinc because those are really important for general health and wellness. But we took a focus on thyroid and liver health. So what that means is we're focusing on the cellular level of health and wellness. And if you focus on the cellular level, your entire system is going to be optimized. And things that people feel, they have better hair, better skin, better nails, and they generally feel better and they're getting their full spectrum wellness.
Hey, Run Lift Mom listeners, you know I'm the mom of 4 kids under age 5, and therefore I am always looking for ways to work smart, not hard. Anchor is the smartest way to make a podcast. Let me tell you why. First of all, there are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. But Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so then it can be heard on places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a whole lot more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It is quite literally everything you need all in one place. And y'all, it's free. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you for listening to the Run Lift Mom podcast. This began as a passion project in February of 2019. I wanted to uplift other women in the areas of running, lifting, and motherhood. Here's what's happened. I've not only personally been uplifted, I have been blessed by the relationships with guests on this show, by the relationships with listeners of this show. Thank you so much for helping me continue this passion project. Here's how you can help even more, and it will take you less than 10 seconds, dear listener. I want you to rate, review, and subscribe. Rate, review, and subscribe. It really, really helps other people find the show, and it keeps my show sponsors happy. All right, guys, don't forget, on Wednesday, December 4th, I'm going to do the drawing. How do you get into said drawing? You leave a review for this podcast. Well, hey, girl, what if I've already left a review? You're already in the drawing. This is a $147 value, a full MUTU system program. Thank you so much to the folks at MUTU for providing this prize. I can't wait to select a name from a review on Wednesday, December 4th. You guys, I'm thrilled to announce a new partner on Run Lift Mom, and that is Audible. I've been an Audible member for over 10 years, and my favorite part, hands down, it's the gift of time. I use the free app to take notes as I'm doing my long run and I hear something fantastic, and you are going to love it. If you want to try Audible free, visit audibletrial.com/runliftmom. That's RUNLIFTMOM. Again, for a free trial, visit audibletrial.com/runliftmom.